being in the field like that, learning to adjust, how did you then connect with the people that were there, especially the women? Because you have an opportunity that Nick does not. In those societies, the gender roles are usually pretty clear
Yeah.
in the interactions. But what did you learn? I mean, what were the challenges that you had, and what did you learn, and how did you connect with the women there?
Well, when we got to Muslim countries, definitely he didn't have a voice with
Mm-hmm.
Muslim women. And I found that if a Muslim woman is going to hear about Jesus, it's going to be through a woman. And for many years, as missions went to that world, we assumed that the man was the missionary and the woman was his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And that won't work. It
Mm.
will not work in a Muslim world. We as women have to have probably better language skills than the men do, because for the majority of Muslim women, they don't read, they don't write,
Mm.
and they're not stupid. It's just they communicate in oral means. And so we had to learn how to use our language skills to speak stories from the Bible to these women. And every woman that you meet loves to hear a story.
Mm.
That's sort of how they interact with each other. They'll sit for hours in their living areas talking and sharing and telling stories. I have a friend who lived in a very strict Muslim country. And she said when she would go visit, they would sit around and try to tell the worst, most horrible story they could think of. And then they would say, "Oh, you win, you won." You know, it was kind of like a game. And so telling stories is always fun. And so as we go into their homes and we share a story from the Bible, I read something this morning. Can I tell you what I read? And we tell the story of the woman at
Mm.
the well, or the woman with the issue of blood. And
Mm.
those stories communicate. And so I think that's one thing that I learned. When we were in Malawi and in South Africa, it was more open. And so I would go to women's homes. We would sew together. We would talk together. They would try to teach me to cook. That was always a challenge. But just doing those things that women do allows you to be with women, and you learn to tell the stories of the Bible, and that really does connect. A great part of this story, we went to a wedding in a Muslim country, and if you know anything for Muslim women, weddings last a long time. I mean, it's
Mm.
not like the 1 hour where you walk down the aisle and it's all done. No, it's several days preparation. And then at the wedding, you're there 20 hours or so. They
Wow.
dress up in, it's like going to your prom. They're all dressed up and they're excited. So we get into this wedding, and I had a lady with me who is superb in Arabic. And when she walked in the door, one of the women that she had told a Bible story to just a few days earlier shouted across this room of over 150 women, "Oh, here is my friend. Oh, she will tell wonderful stories." And we were sitting there going, "We're going to get kicked out." But she told the story and everybody loved it. And they said, "Well, tell another one." So at the wedding, there she was, just telling story after story, and the women gathered around her hearing the stories. And the great thing about women is we don't keep quiet. So as all these women went back to their villages, they were telling the stories along the way. And so God is at work. We've just got to figure out how to partner with him and get the stories of the Bible out there, because women's hearts can be changed. And even though they are in an environment that's oppressive, that's demeaning to them, all of a sudden they have worth in
Mm.
in who they are, because you've told a story. And we think, "Oh, well, that'll only work over there." No, that works right here in America or wherever you are. It's so important that we learn the Bible stories and
Mm-hmm.
we share them.